Oh, my phone's on. There we go. Let's turn that off. Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for... Put me right off my stride, that. Championship preview and predictions, round 21. We're here a little bit earlier. I'm on Blue Monday duty tonight, so would have done this tonight, but we're getting there nice and early. So if you are joining us on Thursday lunchtime, thank you. We need you to help us with the predictions as we go. If you're watching after the fact or listening on the podcast, you are also very, very welcome too. And you too can join in with the predictions fun. As ever, we are sponsored by Betfair and Football 365. So head over to football365.com. There it is in all its glory. And use the Championship Predictor game. We've got a leaderboard going. Everyone can get their predictions in there for the scorelines. We keep track on the leaderboard. And for each and every prediction you put in, our friends at betfair.com will give you the odds for that particular game. And if you want to go ahead and head over to betfair.com and have a little tipple on one of these games, please then do so. BeGambleAware.org, 18 plus only. Please gamble responsibly. Let me know if you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly. Go and say hello in the chat. If you are watching, we need you active in this show, and I need your predictions. You can give me them in detail or just give me a team or a scoreline, whichever way around you want to do it. But let's get some sense of how you feel these championship games are going to go in round 21, where we've got first against second, third against seventh, and sixth against fourth. So we've got some 3 all top 7 clashes and 2 all top 6 classes. So nice and busy at the top of the table. Before we get into the action, let's just say a big thank you to the Donovan brothers, who are our fan sponsor for this show. They sponsor over on patreon.com/Benjamin Blue. Sponsor in memory of their dad, Dennis, and brother Mike, both sorely missed, cheering on Millwall from above. Thank you to the Donovans for their sponsorship. If you want to get involved, head over to Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Blue. You can get involved in all of this. We've got Q&As and roundtables. Come and chop it up with me on the roundtable over on Patreon. All good fun over there. But for the princely sum of absolutely nothing, you can get your comments in, share your knowledge, drive the debate. Please hit like wherever you're watching, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and hit that subscribe button. We've gone over 20,000 subscribers, which was a long-held target. And we want more. Let's grow the channel. Hit subscribe if you are new around here and haven't already. There are your fixtures. They are ticking along the bottom. Let's say some hellos down here to Owen, Thomas, Damien, Mr. E, Colm, Ewan. Some great names here, some familiar friends. Jack, Pecan, Jake, Stephen, Stuart, Liam, Peter, Sam, Bingley Blade, Brownie, Jake, and Saxben. Woof. Right, let's get into this, you lot. And where else do we start this week than the titanic top of the table clash between Fulham and Bournemouth? Get your predictions in or your detailed rationale, or just give me a Fulham draw Bournemouth for this one. Fulham draw or Bournemouth. You don't need your joker for this one because it's first versus second in the table. It's the best home team versus the best away team. It's teams 1 and 2 in the XG table. It's Scott Parker returning to Craven Cottage with Bournemouth. It's Mitrovic versus Solanke. Should be brilliant. Let's hope we don't get some kind of drab 0-0. Get your predictions in. Fulham, draw or Bournemouth. Fulham, draw or Bournemouth. I want to know what you think on this one. We will be watching along on the channel tomorrow night about 7:30. We will be starting with this one. Tail of the tape, other than the form table is very, very tight, but the form table, and maybe it being at Craven Cottage, I think skews it just in Fulham's favour to me. In the table, Fulham by 1, but it's first and second. Form table, Bournemouth are only 11th in the form table. Remember, they've only got sort of 5 points in their last 5 games. In their homes and aways, Fulham best home team, Bournemouth best away team. And both sides are in the top 6 for goals scored most and goals conceded fewest. XG, Fulham by 1, first and second. It's a tight one. Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat. I don't blame you for having any outcome on this one. Gonna be a tight one. Colm, Fulham, Pecan, Bournemouth. Lord Tulum has played his 0-0 on this one. I hope not. In terms of injuries, it's Bournemouth and the fullbacks, particularly that side with Zemura, that would be a worry for either side. Fulham, 0-0. A few people playing the 0-0 draw. Fulham draw. 3-3 draw. Wouldn't that be fantastic, Iain? Bingley, draw. Peter, Fulham. Stuart, Fulham. Jake, Fulham. I wonder whether both sides would accept the point. I think they would. Just don't lose this one and move on. And let's be fair, if they both do what they've done over the first 20 games, over the next 20 games, they're both going up anyway, aren't they? So, Ben, Fulham, Damien, can't wait for this one. 3-2 Fulham. Please give us something like that. That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Mr. E, Fulham to edge it. Kieran, draw. David, Fulham. Lionel, Fulham play beautiful football and they score a ton of goals. I think I've already given away where I'm going with this. It's very, very tight. 2 very good teams, the 2 best teams in the league by a distance, the league table tells us. I've got to go with Fulham. Home. Let's go for a home win for Fulham in this one. I think home advantage. Slight little dip in form from Bournemouth. Obviously, there was that virus going around Fulham, wasn't there? And, yeah, a couple of injuries at the back. Cahill, not there. Maybe Zemura, not there as well. So let's plug in Fulham. I suspect Bournemouth will score. They're very good in front of goal. Remember, it's the 2 best defences in the league as well, alongside West Brom. Let's go 2-1 Fulham. 2-1 Fulham for me. And over at betfair.com, you will get 7-1 for that one. Please gamble responsibly. And we're going to go on to another pretty hefty top of the table clash, a top 7 clash. QPR versus Stoke. Give us your feedback on this one. QPR draws Stoke. QPR draws Stoke. We did QPR on the watch along on Monday. They kind of ambled their way through the first half and then were pretty decent in the second half to get the win late on against Derby. QPR are in good form, second in the form table, and Stoke are the visitors to the Kian Prince Foundation Stadium. Stoke, back-to-back defeats, have dropped out of the top 6. They're just trailing. Blackburn have jumped in there in the, I think it was only the last round. Blackburn did end up in that top 6. Get your predictions in, guys, please. QPR draws Stoke. QPR draws Stoke. Tyrese Campbell back in the starting lineup for Stoke. Still without Nick Powell. Harry Souttar out for the season. QPR, settled looking team. Willock and Chair, very good. Very good indeed. Enjoyed watching them. Predictions, please, guys. I can see plenty of them coming in the comments. QPR draws Stoke. Tail of the tape. QPR in the table by 4. And QPR in the form table by 4 as well. Remember, Stoke's form predicated the first 4 games of that form table. But Stoke are still 6th in the form table. Homes and aways is QPR quite heavily by 10. QPR 5th best home team. Stoke 15th best away team. QPR are in the top 6 for goals scored. Stoke are in the top 6 for fewest goals conceded. Does that equal things out? Stoke have actually got it in the XG by 6. As well. Interesting little wrinkle, that one. Let's see what you lot are saying in the chat on this one. Stuart is gone for Rangers. Still haven't gotten out of second gear. Maybe third gear, Stuart, but they certainly don't appear to have hit fourth or fifth gear, do they? I do agree with you on that, Stuart. Yeshua, QPR. Jack, QPR. Luke, QPR. Pecan, QPR. Colm, QPR. Jake, the same. Thomas. Lord Tillham, everyone's heavily behind QPR here. Ewan, Bingley Blade, Peter, QPR, Liam, the other Peter, Jake. Are we complete sweep here? Incredible. No one's gone for Stoke here. You know what's going to happen now, don't you? As long as we keep a scoring run up, I'll live with any result. QPR should be winning this one. Really, Mr. A, impressed with QPR against Derby. Stoke are decent. I think QPR will win. You guys are heavy on QPR. So in that instance, I will join you. Stoke don't score too many, 24. They're not up there in the top 6 for goals scored. So I'm not expecting a high scorer. I'll go with you lot. Home QPR to edge it. Let's go for a 1-0. 1-0 QPR. They have been scoring in virtually every game for a long time, haven't they, QPR? And the defence has tidied up a little bit. QPR 1, Stoke 0. It's another 7-1 shot with Betfair. Betfair.com give you 7-1 QPR versus Stoke for a 1-0 like I've gone for. If you are going to have a little tipple on that one, please gamble responsibly. Let's move on. Here's a fun one for you. I'm looking forward to see what you guys say for this one. Coventry versus West Brom. 6th versus 4th. Get your comments in. Coventry draw, West Brom. Coventry draw, West Brom. Coventry hanging out in there in the top 6, but they're undefeated in the last 4, but it's been 3 draws in a row for Cov in those last 3 games. 0-0 against the Blades, 0-0 against Birmingham. Good 2-2 against Bournemouth. Remember, Bournemouth going down to 10. Coventry coming back late in that one. But a couple of 0-0s in there. Home form has been imperious for Coventry. Fulham have moved ahead of them in that home table. West Brom are not in good form. West Brom are 19th in the form table for the last 6 games. That's seen them drop from 3rd to 4th, which doesn't seem a lot, does it, that one position? However, what it has seen happen is Fulham and Bournemouth move into a kind of top 2, whereas we did have a top 3. Get your predictions in, please, guys. Coventry draw or West Brom in this one? Coventry draw, West Brom. West Brom have it in the table by 2. Form table, as I say, is an outlier for both, in fact. Both below their league position in the form table. Coventry 10th, West Brom 19th. So Coventry do have that heavily by 9. Homes and aways. Coventry 2nd best home team. West Brom 8th best away team. Both sides are in the top 6 for goals scored. West Brom, however, in the top 6 for fewest goals conceded. And it's West Brom by 6 on the XG. 3rd plays 9th. There, let's have a look and see what you lot are saying in this one. Jack, Baggies, Pecan, same. Joe, Cov, Ewan is playing his 0-0. Yeah, do play your 0-0 at some point. Statistics tell us there will be 1 in these 12 games. Peter, West Brom, Lord Tulum, Cov, Thomas, unbeaten versus the parachute teams. Good omen that. More confident than I was a week ago as Bournemouth draw gives us some much needed confidence. 2-1 Cov. Nice detail there. Thomas, Jake draw, George Cov, Kieran Cov. Baggies dropping off. They are 19th in the form table. Jake, he's gone for Cov. So is Jason. So is Colm. Draw for Will and Yeshua. Peter, Cov, Liam, Cov, Stuart, draw. Cov, draw. Sorry if I'm not reading your name. Let's move through quickly. Cov, Callum, massive game. West Brom in poor form. Could be the end of Val. Wow. There you go. Cov, Sam, Cov. I really do like O'Hare. Excellent player. I'm somewhere in the middle on this one. A few of the numbers, particularly the form table and the homes and aways, give us Cov, don't they? The XG and maybe a good defensive record in the league table give us West Brom. I'm going to land in the middle then. Draw. Let's assume all of those things equal everything out. We'd said not been too much in the way of goals, so I'll go for a low-scoring draw. I'm not playing my 0-0 on this one, I have to say. There's a far more pressing candidate for that one. 1-1. Betfair have gone quite short on that one. 5-1. If it ends 1-1 over on betfair.com. Please gamble responsibly. I've gone for Coventry 1, West Brom 1. Let's move on to Blackburn versus Preston in a Northwest derby. Get your thoughts in, please, guys. Blackburn draw, Preston. Blackburn draw or Preston. Blackburn had a lovely weekend last week, didn't they? They were victorious at Stoke, which meant 10 points in 4 games for Rovers, and jumped, I think, from 7th to 4th. I know QPR then took the place back on Monday night, but Blackburn kind of snuck up there, have they? Form table says no. Blackburn are 3rd in the form table, so no sneaking really at all. Preston, decent draw against Fulham. A few Preston fans I spoke to thought they could have had more. So 4 points in the last 2 for Preston, having won at Borough and drawn with Fulham. So short-term form is decent for North End. And then 9th in the form table. So not the worst in the world. Big gap, though. You're going to need your joker if you're calling Preston on this one, because it's 17th and 5th in the table. Get your predictions in. Blackburn draw, Preston. As I said in the table, Blackburn by 12. Form table's a little bit tighter, but still Blackburn by 6. Homes and aways is heavy on Blackburn. Blackburn's 6th best home team. Preston 21st best away team. In terms of goals for and against, it's all on Blackburn. Blackburn are well up there in the top 6 for goals scored. Also for goals conceded, but we do need to factor in 7 in 1 game against Fulham went in against Blackburn. XG, Preston are actually underperforming them, and Blackburn are overperforming there. So that works a bit more in Preston's favour, if you like that sort of thing. Get your predictions in, please, guys. Blackburn draw, Preston. Blackburn draw, Preston. Let's have a look, see what you lot are saying in the chat. Here, Jack, Rovers. Jake, Rovers. Peter, Preston. Brownie, Rovers. Julam, Rovers. Saxpen's got his 0-0 in for that one. Brave, where Blackburn are concerned, but I think he's above me in the table, so who am I to question him? Rovers, Blackburn, Rovers. 0-0 for Damien. Blackburn, 0-0. Ben, we tend to have a dud after we realise we're in the playoffs. Yeah, I know what you mean. Blackburn, get up. Oh, and then they drop back down. I know exactly what you mean, but he's going for the home win anyway. Rovers, draw. Blackburn flying since Fulham thrashing. And not actually, Jason. The form does actually predate. The Fulham game is an outlier. It's the only really bad result they've had in the recent run, Blackburn. So yes and no to that one. I know what you're saying, though, Jason. Liam, Blackburn, Will, North End fan here, going for a 2-2. Draw for Yeshua. Preston, sneaky by 1. Mr. E, Blackburn, only because they have Brereton Diaz. There is the pregnant pause. I am a bit seduced by Blackburn's ability to score goals and Preston's away record. So I think you know where I'm going then, guys. Home! Let's go for a Blackburn win. And because I'm always very conservative with my predictions, let's go for some goals in this one. Let's go 3-1 Blackburn. And I suspect we'll get a nice price for Betfair on that one. Go on, 14-1. There you go, our biggest price so far. Please gamble responsibly if you're going to have a go at that. If you do have a go and you win, 14-1 for Blackburn to win that Northwest Derby, Lancashire Derby, 3-1. We are moving on. Barnsley versus Huddersfield, everybody. Get your predictions in, please, guys. Barnsley, draw. Huddersfield, Barnsley, draw. Or Huddersfield in this one. Barnsley now, and people will probably say, well, what were you waiting for, Ben? I'm now actually starting to worry quite badly again for Barnsley. And mainly because Reading, Cardiff and Hull have all gone up in their output in terms of points per game recently. And Barnsley have just kept stinking it out now for about 20 games. Young, untried manager in there. Barnsley are 8 points adrift. Huddersfield are still in 8th place. There's a little gap going in the table now where Huddersfield were sort of in playoff positions up until a few weeks ago, but 3 defeats in 4 now for Huddersfield. Little gap between 8th and 7th there. Maybe regression to the mean for Huddersfield toward the middle of the table? I don't know. Am I being unfair? You tell me. Barnsley draw Huddersfield. Predictions in the live chat, please, guys. Barnsley draw Huddersfield. Lots of red on my notes here, which red means bad. So in the table, Huddersfield by 15. In the form table, Huddersfield not great, 14th, but Barnsley, well, put it this way, Barnsley are 23rd in the table, 23rd in the form table, and 23rd in the home table as well. Not good by any stretch. One saving grace, Huddersfield aren't very good away from home, 20th in the away table. Huddersfield, also for Barnsley, bottom 6 for fewest goals scored, bottom 6 for most goals conceded as well. In the XG, guess where Barnsley are? 23rd. It's all very, very relegated at the moment for Barnsley. They need Poya, Asbaghi, and some of the better players now to start carrying this. Hellick, Anderson, Collins, Styles, Britton, Woodrow. Good players there, but not going well at all. Let's see what you say. Is the misery continuing for Barnsley here? And yes, you will need your joker if you're going behind Barnsley, I would suggest. Here we go. There is one straight away. Barnsley draw. Barnsley, interesting. A few people think the turn starts here for Barnsley. Huddersfield. A couple of people playing the 0-0s there. Peter, Bingley Blade, David, draw. Huddersfield, Jest for Saxben. A draw for Colm. Liam, Will, both going for Huddersfield. Jake's gone for the Yorkshire side. I suppose he went for the Lancashire side in Blackburn, Preston as well. Barnsley are doomed, says Mankind. 081. 0-0 for Ben. A few people pulling out the old 0-0 card. 1-1 for Sam. Kieran's got the joker on Barnsley. Draw for Mankind. Jake, Huddersfield, another joker. Yeshua on the 0-0. Mr. E, Barnsley on that one. Surely a joker there. Damien, not convinced they have the heart to pull themselves out of this. Huddersfield, Jest. I don't want to because I enjoyed Barnsley last season. I think they're going to lose again. I think Huddersfield, do you know what? It might just win from a set play. Can you see Barnsley scoring in this one? 13 goals in 20 games. Therein lies the issue. So, sorry, Barnsley fans. Away! I think, is that my first away win? Yeah, it is. First away win of the coupon for me. Let's go 1-0 Huddersfield. I agree with Damien at the bottom there. 1-0 Huddersfield. Fairly short price. Yeah, 13-2 from Betfair for that one. I've gone for Huddersfield to keep the misery pouring on for poor old Barnsley as we'll be at game 21 after the weekend. And yeah, we're predicting they're probably still going to be 8 points adrift, and we're coming up halfway. It's a long way back if Barnsley don't start winning. On to the next, and it is Middlesbrough versus Swansea, please. Middlesbrough draw Swans. Middlesbrough draw Swans. Get your predictions in for this one. Not much in this, is there? Borough, little one-game trend up. They've not been in good form other than that. Although Wilder has got them scoring, hasn't he? Since he arrived, it is 3 games now, 5 goals. So they're hitting the target. First win last time out at Huddersfield for Middlesbrough. Swansea, I was all amped up about Swansea. I thought, here they go. They're going to join top of the second quartile here, 7th, 8th place. They're still in 9th, but they lost, didn't they, at home to Reading last time out, which me and the chat here pretty much unanimously had down as a home win, and Reading went there, got the victory, didn't they? Predictions, please, guys. Borough draw Swans. Borough draw or Swans. So, table has Swans by 3, my bad. Form table, heavily on the Swans here. However, recent, last time out, it was Borough win, Swans lose. Form table, though, 21st Borough, Swans 7th. But we are now expecting a wilder climb, aren't we? So maybe we can preempt the form table there and suggest in 3 games' time, Borough will not be 21st in the form table. Who knows? Homes and aways. Borough 14th best at home. Swans 16th best away. Not a lot. Neither side in top 6 for goals scored or conceded. XG, Borough are 5th in the table. So bit of a sense there's some underperformance in one or other or both penalty boxes. Swans down in 15th. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Borough, draw, or Swans? Let's have a look. Where are we landing? I'll just go Davey there. Barnsley, we have to win eventually. You do. Colm, Borough, Pecan, draw. Tulin, Borough, Jack, draw. Ewan, Borough. Sam, Swans. Jason, draw. Ben, Swans. Sax Ben, Borough. Jimmy, draw. Jake, Borough. Bingley, Borough. Thomas, draw. Jake, tough one. Fancy Borough to continue the not new manager bounds. Lovely stuff. Borough, 0-0 for Peter. Another Peter's gone for a score draw, though. Liam, Borough. Kieran, Swans. Jonathan, Borough. Damien, looking forward to this one. Leaving Swansea at 5:30. You deserve a win for that one. 2-1 Swans. While the whoosh incoming home win, Mankind draw. I think, and it's only 3 places, but I'll do it because I don't need to play it anywhere else. There is my joker, which should tell you I'm going for the lower ranked team in the league, which is Borough. Home. I keep backing Borough under Wilder, don't I? And they finally won at Huddersfield. So I'm going to do it again. 10 times bitten, not shy. Let's go for a 2-1 to Borough in this one. Swans will have possession. They'll have chances. They'll probably score with Pirro, Patterson, and the wing-backs. But Borough are scoring in 2s, aren't they, under Chris Wilder? The midfielders getting forward now. Wing-backs getting forward. What more in good form in the last game? Let's go for a 2-1 to Borough. You will get 15-2 at betfair.com on that one. Please gamble responsibly. Here we go. It's Millwall versus Birmingham next up. Millwall versus Birmingham. Get your predictions in. Mill, draw, Blues. Millwall, draw, Birmingham. Get your predictions in for this one. Do seem to be slightly moving, and I say only slightly moving in opposite directions. Birmingham, 4 points in the last 2. Millwall had gone on another one of those drawing runs. And we always say about Rowett and Millwall, you stick a defeat on the end of a drawing run, and all of a sudden we're saying, long run without a win, low points output, all of that stuff. Stick a win on the end. Oh, unbeaten, good output. All very much depends on getting those wins in there, doesn't it, around the draws for Rowett. He loves a draw. Last time out, Millwall became Hull's latest victims. Birmingham got themselves a win at home to Blackpool late on with that Jutkiewicz goal. Predictions in, guys. Millwall draw, Birmingham. Millwall draw, Birmingham. Table, Millwall by 4. Form table, Birmingham by 12. Birmingham are 5th in the form table. Millwall are 17th. Birmingham, 8 points in the last, 7 points in the last 5. Must be a win just before that. And that mitigates that run of 1 point in 3 games, I guess, over the 6-game form table. Homes and aways is tight. Birmingham just by 2. 9th best away team plays 11th best home team. Now, we have 2 teams that don't score many goals, both in the bottom 6 for goals scored, and also both in the top 6 for goals conceded. They don't score many. They don't concede many. In the XG, Mill 14th, Birmingham 8th. Underperformance by Birmingham. We think, lots of people like to blame poor old Scott Hogan for this, not taking their chances. Let's have a look. See what you lot are saying in the chat. On this one, Jake, Mill, Thomas agrees. Cole's gone 0-0, so is Jack. Jonathan, 2-1 Blues. Jason's gone 0-0. 1-0 Mill. 0-0. Draw. 0-0. Going for the 1-1. The old Rowett 1-1. Always a good one. Sax Ben. Peter, 1-0 Mill. Ben, 2-2. Oh, you'd love to see it. 4 goals in a Millwall-Birmingham game. Rowett Classic, 1-0 Millwall. Bingley Blade scored. Well, you can play more than 1-0 if you want. Sam, route to stick the knife in, 1-0 Mill. 1-0 Birmingham with a joker there from Damien. Draw. 4 draws and a loss in 5 is less than 1 point per game. After all, who's that? Is that Millwall? Yeah, it is. Oh, yeah, totally. Millwall, 7 clean sheets against Birmingham in the last 9. Interesting. All in all, just another mill in the wool. Nice. Narrow home win. 2-0 Mill, 1-0 Mill. Either joint or top clean sheets at the moment. For Birmingham, I think it is, yeah. Dean, 0-0. I'm going to agree with Dean. Here it comes, everybody. I'm completely seduced by both sides being in the bottom 6 for goals scored and the top 6 for fewest conceded. Here they are. You've been waiting to see them. There's Mr. Dyson, Mr. Warnock. I'm going with my 0-0 draw in this one. I don't need to tell you the score, and I don't need to do anything on the Football 365 predictor. There it is at the top, 6-1 with Betfair.com on a 0-0. Let's go for a 0-0. Lee Bowyer and Gary Rowett to shake hands on a double clean sheet. I think it's Jack just pointing out Birmingham high for clean sheets. I think 8 possibly. Someone will correct me on that for Sarkic and the Birmingham defence. Right, Blackpool versus Luton. Blackpool versus Luton. Predictions in, please, guys. Pool, draw, Luton. Pool, draw, or Luton. Blackpool, are you calling this a slip or a regression to the mean? Because Blackpool are 11th, which is still a good position for a team that won the League One playoffs last season. But they're not in good form. 3 points in 5 for Blackpool. Bit of a slip after that tremendous run. Had seen them way up. I think they were in 6th at the end of one of the rounds. I could be wrong about that, but I do remember them being in the playoff spots. Get your predictions in. Blackpool draw Luton. Blackpool draw Luton. Luton are also not in good form. A bad tail off, actually. 1 point in 4 games. Very bad over the 4-game period. And the 6th game, actually, 22nd in the form table for Luton. Only Barnsley and Peterborough worse in the form table than Luton, which is a surprise. We've set the standards high for our friends down at the Kenny. They're not playing at the Kenny this time around. Maybe that's good news for Luton. Who knows? Get your predictions in. Blackpool draw Luton. Tail of the tape. Blackpool in the table by 4. Blackpool in the form table by 4. Luton in the homes and aways by 1. But it's not great. Luton 17th best away. Blackpool 18th best at home. Here's an interesting wrinkle. I don't know if this might influence any of you. Luton are top 6 for goals scored. Blackpool are bottom 6 for goals scored. Whether that equals out some of the form that was going in Blackpool's favour. In terms of XG, this is mad. Luton by 16. Luton are 4th in the XG table. Blackpool are 20th. That is one side who seem to be playing the penalty box as well. One side not so well. Or you could factor good finishing, bad finishing. And that old chestnut luck as well. Who knows? Luton, bit of a sense they've not been taking their chances in previous games. Penalty missed by Adebayo. Chances missed their way at QPR as well. Right, let's have a look at your predictions. Blackpool versus Luton. And we will start with Colm. He's gone for Paul. Tulum, draw. Ewan, Jason, Damien, Dale, David have all gone for Blackpool. Thomas, away. Felt like I liked Blackpool, but they were never going to keep up that form all season. Sax Ben Luton, Jimmy Luton, Jake Luton, Jack Blackpool, Dean 0-0, JJB 2-0 to the Pool, Lavery to score. He has returned now. He was fantastic in the first sort of 10, 15 games of the season, wasn't he? Luton. Interesting. Blackpool, but I wouldn't be shocked if it was. I think that's called hedging your bets, Bingley Blade there. Mr. E seems like a classic one. And when Luton used to win 1-0 away all the time last season. Sam gone for Blackpool as well. Look, I've only got 2 draws so far on my coupon, so I'm allowed to go for another one. I think I can't split these 2 especially at Bloomfield Road. Draw. Let's go for a draw in this one. A relative low score. I don't see it being a 0-0 with the amount of goals Luton score and Blackpool's decent XG in front of goal, or Blackpool's decent overperformance of XG. You know what I'm saying, don't you? Let's go 1-1. Short odds for that. Look at that. 9-2. That is our shortest price we've had from Betfair for this whole round. They think that's likely. Blackpool 1, Luton 1. If you do head to Betfair for a little tipple, have fun. Please gamble responsibly. I am obliged to say that, of course, and I will continue to do so. Let's move on. Cardiff versus Sheffield United in one of many Neil Warnock derbies. If you're ever short for which derby is this one, just call it the Neil Warnock derby. Always the same. Cardiff draw Sheffield United, please, guys. Cardiff draw Sheffield United. Get your predictions in. Two relatively new managers. I was going to say two relatively untried managers. That's not fair on Paul Heckingbottom, who has, of course, managed Barnsley, Hibs, and Leeds United, for God's sake. Steve Morison is a fairly untried manager, but he's a fairly untried manager in good form. And you can see we're partnered with Football 365. Steve Morison is our manager to watch. So if you're a Cardiff fan, I've written about Steve Morison over on Football 365. So when you go in and play in the predictor game, go and read that article. It's the big weekend preview in the Championship. Recently, Sheffield United, 7 points in 3. And 4 of those were for Jukanovic. Heckingbottom winning his first game there. We think a sense of underperformance at Sheffield United. They're up to 13th now with the squad they've got and their status as a former Premier League team in year one parachute team. Perhaps they shouldn't be in the bottom half. They are just on goal difference in the bottom half. Cardiff are in decent form. Like when we were talking about Barnsley, we were saying about a bit of a rising tide above the relegation line. And Cardiff have been part of that because they've scored 9 points in the last 4 games. Steve Morison has got all of those points with a win against Huddersfield, a win at Preston, and a win at Luton. The only defeat to Hull, who are on fire at the moment, aren't they? Let's do the tale of the tape. Get your predictions in, please, guys. Cardiff draw. Sheffield United. Table has the Blades by 7. The form table has Cardiff by 5. Homes and aways, and we can probably blame Mick McCarthy for this. Cardiff are still the worst home team in the division. They're 24th in the home table. They have, and this includes, I think, 3 games under Steve Morison. They have still, oh, is it only 2 games under Morison? I don't know. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, still lost 4 out of the last 5 at home, haven't they? Sheffield United, 11th best away team. Nothing much to write home about in terms of goals for and against, other than Cardiff are in the bottom 6 for goals conceded. XG, both sides underperforming their XG. Cardiff by 9, Sheffield United by 7. If you believe purely in XG, which you never really should look at other stats along with it. Both sides should be higher than they are on the table, which probably everyone agrees with when they look at the squads of both. Let's have a look and see what you fine people are saying in the chat here. Where should we start? Start with Cole, who's gone Blades, Pecan Cardiff, Ewan Cardiff, Jack Draw, Chulam Blades, Nil. Oh, Thomas is going to it. So, yeah, he's saying no goals there. Nice. Jason Draw, Nat Cardiff. Birmingham have 10 clean sheets this season. Lovely. Blades, do I need my joker? No, you absolutely do not for that one. Cardiff, Morrow on a roll. Yeah, he is, isn't he? 9 points in 4. Agree, David. Jimmy, away. That's Blades. Jake, Blades continue. The new manager bounce. He's going for me there, isn't he? Ben, Cardiff. Bingley Blade, horrible game. Cardiff almost certain to score from a set piece. Plus home win. There we go. Dale, Blades. Mr. E, Blades. Jimmy, Blades. Kieran, Blades. Sam, Blades. Damien, Morison seems to have picked up Cardiff in recent weeks. Blades, pretty poor by their standards. Hardly ever back Cardiff, but will this week. There we go. Dean, Cardiff, Jake, Blades. I'm going to go for Sheffield United. I don't know why, because there's a lot of easy evidence to go for Cardiff. I'm going to go with a hunch on this one, and maybe just squad quality and maybe a new Broom with Heckingbottom. I don't know. Maybe Brewster starts scoring finally as well. He scored last week, didn't he? Beat up the Championship for Swansea. So let's go away. And do you know what? I'm going to go comfortable. Let's go 2-0. And don't ask me, I'm not playing my joker. I've got nothing more than a hunch on this one. And you all know I do my homework and give you all the stats, but sometimes you just have to go with a hunch. I just fancy Sheffield United. 9-1. Betfair don't really agree with me, but what are you going to do, hey? 9-1, betfair.com for a 2-0 for Blades down at the Bluebirds. Right, we have got 3 to go, and we are now dealing with the teams down at the bottom of the table. Talk to me, guys. Nottingham Forest versus Peterborough. Forest versus Peterborough. Forest rarely lose under Steve Cooper. In fact, I think they've only lost 1 game under Cooper. However, they rarely win in the last 5 games. Lots of draws for Cooper. Bit rowity, isn't it? But I suppose he's just making them hard to beat first, Forest. I suspect Forest fans will be a little disappointed not to be higher than 16th after that brilliant start that Cooper had. But hey, draws will kill you, won't they? 46-game league, 3 points for a win. If you're going to draw 4 out of 5, you will trend down despite being undefeated. Peterborough, they've let that gap go, haven't they? With Reading, 7 points in 4. Cardiff, 9 points in 4. Hull, 12 points in 4. 4-point gap now between the Posh and Safety. And Peterborough are awful away from home. We mention that every time we do a Peterborough away game. And they don't really prove us wrong. 9 defeats in 10 on the road for the Posh. Get your predictions in, guys. Forest draw, Posh. Forest draw, Posh. And you probably need your joker on Posh, even though there's only 6 positions in the table, given that away form. Tail of the tape. The table has Forest by 8. The form table has Forest by 12. Homes and aways, again, this is parlaying back into Chris Hughton's really dreadful start. But it's 22nd best home team against 24th best away team. Not much to write home about. Peterborough, unfortunately, are in the bottom 6 for goals scored and the bottom 6 for goals conceded as well. And you think Steve Cooper, over time, will get Forest towards the top 6 for goals conceded, wouldn't you? He just does, doesn't he? XG, not very impressive. Peterborough, 22nd in the XG table, 22nd in the league table. Forest, 17th in the XG table, 16th in the league table. Let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Here we go. Colm, Forest, Jack, Forest, Nat, Forest. Ben's got the old joker out. You love to see it with the Posh. Forest. Another joker on the Posh. There we go. Forest, draw. Forest. Heavy for a few of you, actually. Oh, look. Forest banker, Forest by a sackful. You lot are all the way behind Forest here. Forest. Banker of the day, Forest. Who's that in the statue? Is that Cluffy? Looks like it, doesn't it? Forest. Worth. Okay, then. I'll join you all and say home. I think until Peterborough stop losing 90% of their away games, 90% is the number, it's hard to predict them picking up points away from home. So I'm going to plug in a comfy one and go with you guys who are saying it's a banker. Let's go 2-0 for Steve Cooper over Darren Ferguson. If I can find the bloody fixture. There we go. 13-2. Betfair have got that quite short, haven't they? 13-2. Please gamble responsibly. But a lot of you think it's a good bet on Forest this week to beat the Posh. 2 to go, guys. And our penultimate game is Bristol City versus Derby County. Get your predictions in, guys. Bristol City draw, Derby. Bristol City draw, Derby. Derby ended that really difficult week with 4 points, which they'll take, won't they, when you consider it was Bournemouth, Fulham and QPR. And they lost in the last minute, didn't they? Or 89th minute to QPR as well. So they were close during the week. And this after we've gone to 21 points total deducted. However, despite that little short-term feel-good, the numbers are still not good when it comes to Derby. Obviously, they're 19 points adrift. And we do this all the time. Add the 21 points on, and they would be 19th in the table. They would replace, everyone would drop down one in that bottom six, and Derby would take Hull's spot there in 19th. Remember, a 19th place side traditionally over the last 10 years scores 1.1 points per game. That will not be anywhere near enough to usurp a 21 points deduction. Bristol City, I don't like it. They got a good win, didn't they, against Stoke, Bristol City. But then every time they get a defeat, all the Bristol City fans I speak to are not happy. They're like, Ben, where's this going? Where's it going? So it doesn't feel like a happy camp there, Bristol City. They've gone from one of our, teams, clubs that people looked at a bit jealously. They recruited well, raised a load of money through transfers, up around the edges of the playoffs, looking like they're going to challenge the parachute teams. It's all dropped off the last 2 seasons, hasn't it? Here's your tale of the tape. Get your predictions in, guys. Bristol City draw or Derby. Bristol City draw or Derby. So the table has Bristol City by 6. The form table has Bristol City by 4. So despite their hard games, Derby is still 20th in the form table. Homes and aways, Bristol City are the 20th best home team. I know we've lamented Bristol City's home record, but Derby are the 22nd best away team. So does that cancel it out? The only thing to write home about in terms of goals is Derby have got a good defensive record, but they're in the bottom 6 for fewest goals scored. Bristol City are in the bottom 6 for goals conceded. So, I don't know. Does that skew in Derby's favour? I say that. XG, Derby 24th, Bristol City 18th. Can they both lose? It's hard to pick a winner. Really hard to pick a winner out of these two. Let's have a look here and see what you're saying in Bristol City versus Derby. Jack has gone for Bristol City. I think Joseph's going on this one. We'll go with it anyway, 0-0. Derby with the Joker for Colm. Derby for Ewan. 0-0 for Dean. Derby for Liam. Saxbend. Derby. Derby for Jake. Draw for Pecan. A few for Derby here. Jimmy, David, Bristol City for Tulum. Damien's on Derby. Jason's on Derby. Mr. E's on a draw. So is Nat. John, 3 unbeaten at home. Woof. A streak coming. You haven't got Lee Johnson anymore, John. It's Streaky Lee Bowyer now, I think, in this league, isn't it? City were terrible at Bramall, so I have to go with Derby. 0-0 for Ben. Might be a good one to play 0-0 on. Draw 1-1 for Rebel. Draw for Thomas. Dale, Bristol City. Sam, Derby. Dubai Canary, 1-all. I'm tended to agree with Dubai Canary at the end there. And I'll quote myself. Are you allowed to quote yourself, or is that just speaking, quoting yourself? I don't see a good argument for either of these teams winning. So let's go for a draw. Draw! I don't think it'll be 0-0. I think Bristol City with Vyman and Martin and Derby, Derby, Lawrence, Kazim Richards. Not really selling it here, am I? Let's go for a 1-1, though. Let's go for a scoring draw. I've already played them 0-0 on Birmingham and Millwall. So, yeah, I do buy the argument of those of you going on the 0-0 here. Short odds for a 1-1 with Betfair, 9-2. at betfair.com. If you want to have a crack over at Betfair, please gamble responsibly. Last one. Here we go. It's quite a difficult one to call, this one. So interested to see your guys' thoughts. Reading versus Hull, please. Reading versus Hull. Reading, draw or Hull in the predictions. Excuse me. Take a sip of water. First thing that needs to be said is that Hull are in brilliant form, and Grant McCann may be in with a shout for Manager of the Month. 4 wins in 4 for Hull. That is the best winning streak in the entire division, and Hull are 4th in the form table. Only Blackburn, QPR and Fulham are in better form in the past 6 games than Hull. Nobody is in better form in the past 4 games than Hull. It's been quite the turnaround. Now, whether it continues or not depends on a few things. Was it a nice run of fixtures? But then again, would this be a nice fixture as well with Reading 4th bottom? I don't know. You tell me. Reading won their last game, and Reading have 7 points in 4. So Reading aren't in terrible form themselves over 4 games. Over 6 games, they are 15th, however, in the form table. If Hull could win this and go to 5 straight wins, what that would also do, they've put a nice gap between themselves and the relegation zone, 5 points, Hull. If they beat Reading, they would then be 4 points clear of 21st place as well. And depending on whether Peterborough or Barnsley can do anything this weekend, doubtful, given the predictions we've already made. Does that push Reading a bit closer that way? I don't know. Reading 6-point deduction, but as I say, 7 points in the last 4. Get your predictions in. Reading draw Hull. Can Hull go for a fabulous 5, a 5th straight victory? In the table, Reading by 2. Form table, Hull by 11. Homes and aways, Reading by 2, but it's 16th best home team, 18th best away team. Hull don't score many, but Reading do concede a lot. We got Hull in the bottom 6 for fewest scored, Reading in the bottom 6 for most conceded. XG, oh, do you know what? They're both in their league positions for the XG, so nothing doing there. No false positions if you take the XG table as gospel, which I have to always insert the caveat because people get very emotional about it. You probably shouldn't, okay? Look at all the stats. Let's have a look here. Let's land on Colm, draw. Chulham, Reading. Ewan, draw. Jack, draw. James, home. Liam, Hull. Thomas, Hull. Dean, Hull. Jake, Hull. There we go. Jimmy, draw. Pecan, Hull. Nat, draw. Rebel, Hull. Saxbend, Desmond, draw. Dale, 5 in a row for Hull. You would love to see it. Ben, Reading. Bingley Blade, draw. Jake, Hull. Reading for Damien. David, Hull. Jason, draw. 2-all, sorry for Damien. Didn't get his prediction right there. 0-all, says Sam, and Joseph has gone for Reading. What am I going to do? I'm going to assume that the championship is ridiculous. And the most ridiculous thing that could possibly happen is that Hull could win 5 straight games after only scoring 9 points in their first 16. So for that reason, away! Can they do it? I'm back in Hull for a 5th straight win. Why the hell not? Well, many reasons why not, but let's do it anyway. 2-1 Hull. Betfair don't think it's very likely. 10-1 for Hull to get the victory. But I am going for a 2-1 win for Hull. Right, we are going to go to some Q&A for the last 5 minutes of this stream. We'll go over the hour mark. Thank you, as ever, for your help with all the predictions. Really good, engaged comments, as always, with the preview show. If you don't mind, while you're here, just hit that like button on the stream. Only takes a second and helps me out. Also, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let's say another thank you to our fan sponsors, the Donovan brothers, sponsored in memory of their dad, Dennis, and brother Mike, both sorely missed. Cheering on Millwall from above. You too can get involved in fan sponsorship. Patreon.com facebook.com/Benjamin Bloom. Also Q&As live, roundtables there as well. Thank you to betfair.com and football365.com for being our partners for all of our preview shows this season. Please go and get involved at the Football 365 Predictor and check out our content. I'm quite proud of it. I'm a big part of the championship content at football365.com. Every round, we have a predictions article about this show. We have a big weekend article and we have a tactical preview. This weekend, as you can imagine, the tactical preview is Fulham v Bournemouth. What with that being such a big game. Little bit of admin we have to do first. I have to submit my predictions. So I'm going to go and hit the button down there. First of all, let's give you a quick little recap. I have gone for Fulham to beat Bournemouth, Coventry and West Brom to draw. Same for Bristol City and Derby. Sheffield United to beat Cardiff. Blackpool and Luton to draw. Blackburn to beat Preston. Forest to beat Peterborough. I've played my 0-0 on Millwall and Birmingham. I've gone for Huddersfield to beat Barnsley. I've gone for Borough to beat Swansea. I played my joker on that one. I've gone for Hull to beat Reading and QPR to beat Stoke. A £1 bet on that with betfair.com would make me a lovely 56 grand. Someone do it. Go on. It'll never come in, but there we go. So hit submit and confirm. And Bob's your uncle. There we go. Any questions? And we'll do a little bit of Q&A. Where shall we jump in here? David, what happens if Derby goes into liquidation? My understanding is they will cease to exist in the form we know it at the moment. Obviously, we've had some precedents. I think Glasgow Rangers is one, isn't it? Where essentially what is Glasgow Rangers now isn't actually Glasgow Rangers. It's a new sort of company. So with a club as big as Rangers or as Derby, you would think they would essentially restart it way, way lower down the tiers. But yeah, it's been reported today, I think, to David's question there, that big debt to HMRC. And as much as we want the creditors to be paid, you don't want to owe HMRC money because they can call that debt in with more security than any other creditor, can they? Liam, who's been the best signing? Oh, that's a good question. Best signing in the league. I'm just looking down. Maybe I would have said Gyökeres about 10 games ago. I don't know. I'd have to give that a bit more thought. Let me know what you think in the chat. It wasn't a vintage summer for lots of signings. Dean, do you think Hull can be in the playoffs by the end of the season? No, I don't. I think if Hull finish anywhere outside the bottom six and get taken over this season, I think they'll be very, very happy. That's a good question, Matty. Which club do you think is the luckiest to have their manager? Maybe Blackpool and Krissy. I think Krissy will manage at a quite high level. Obviously, Marco Silva's a very big name at Fulham. Coventry, Mark Robbins has given very good service there. You could see a big turnaround with Middlesbrough and Wilder. I'll go for Krissy and Blackpool. Thomas, what do you think of Gustavo Hamer to Villa rumours? I think you can get more than 5 million for him, Thomas. I don't know how long the contract is. It would be quite a Villa signing, wouldn't it, to take the Coventry's best players. I think they've done that over the years with likes of Dion Dublin and George Boateng back in the day. I suspect it would be more than 5 mil, though. Lord Chillen, do I think Sheffield United can still make the playoffs? Yes, I do. I think they've got a good enough squad to go on a crazy run. I thought they had a good enough manager under Jokanovic, but didn't work out, did it? But yes, I do think it's well open. Championship is far more hard to predict. You're telling me, Wolves F1, we try and do it every week. Ewan, if Ipswich beat Barrow in the second round, no, they haven't had the draw yet, but they could play Norwich. Yeah, that'd be lovely. Jake, is there a chance Everton will go down? Yeah, there's a chance, but I don't think it'll happen. I think Everton are slightly off being a sort of top 8 team, but I don't see them being in serious relegation trouble. Looks like I'm having a bit of trouble with connection. My apologies. That's only happened in the last 2 minutes. So please be patient with me, and hopefully that will rectify itself. It's normally a StreamYard problem that. Would you rather pay 50 quid to watch a hoofball game that ends 3-3 or an entertaining possession game that ends 1-0 or 1-1? I wouldn't like to pay 50 quid to watch any of those, but yeah, it does happen, doesn't it? Don't mind. Honestly, probably the both have their merits, but goals. We love goals, don't we? So who's going to suffer the most in the January window? Reading, I think, given the approved plan there. I think, yeah, Reading might be shipping some players out. Who do you think will be most impacted in the Championship by players leaving for the AFCON? Who's got the best African player? Probably QPR, Chair and Dieng, I would suggest there. Apologies if the connection's having problems there. That only appears to have happened. They would get a Phoenix team. Yeah, exactly. That's what would happen at Derby. What else are we saying? Which League One players would succeed in the Championship? Lots of them. Lots of them. Some very good players in League One. And the gap is short. Ben Brereton Diaz is obviously the best. So what, signing the word Diaz onto the end of his name? Yeah, there we go. Would Swift start games in the Premier League? I don't know, Kieran. Maybe for, it depends on the team, maybe for a Brentford or a Watford, maybe one of our promoted teams, Norwich, last season. There we go. Right, apologies about the connection if it looks all crappy for the last minute. That is often beyond my control. Hopefully it's not too awful. So I'll bid you all farewell. I'll say thank you for watching. I'm going to be back with Dearly Departed. We're talking Villa, Man City, and what other game am I talking about? Oh, for God's sakes. It's completely slipped. Watford, Chelsea. That'll be out later in the afternoon. I'll be on Blue Monday tonight as well. For people like Nat who follow League One, we'll be talking some Ipswich Town as well. And I will be back tomorrow night. Clash of the Titans. Fulham versus Bournemouth. Please come and join me for that. Hopefully it's not a drab 0-0. Should be a hell of a game between the Championship's best two teams on paper. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for all your comments. Please hit like before you go. Please hit subscribe if you haven't. And I will catch you on Dearly Departed or tomorrow night for the live watch along. Brilliant stuff, you lot, in the chat. Check out Football 365. Go and have a little tipple on Betfair. Please gamble responsibly. And I will see you very, very soon. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.